Yesterday, we posted a video on NIO and we said that there's a potential 40% run coming up in the next 60 days. The very next day, we are now up nearly 10%, about 5 or 9.53%. And what I want to do in this video is show you guys why we are looking at that initial long setup and where I think this is going to go within the next couple of weeks. If you don't know who I am, I'm Peter DiCarlo. I've been a full-time trader for the past 9 years, and my goal with my trading community and with this YouTube channel is to focus heavily on teaching you guys the realistic aspects of trading. And more so, this type of channel and this type of content would have really helped me out 5 years ago when I first started trading. Now, the reason that I make this type of daily content instead of just pushing out tutorials is that I want you guys to get an understanding of how a professional investor and a professional trader operates. It is very easy to look at a chart and to say, oh, when price did this, we would have taken profit. When price did this, we would have stopped out. And if anybody has ever actually been consistent and been profitable, you understand that it is not the same thing. There's a lot when it comes to your emotions, when it comes to opportunity costs, when it comes to just taking profits too early, which is one of my biggest problems. And so there's so much more to this. And I think that through these day-to-day videos, it's easier for me to convey that. Now, the reason that we are entering or looking to enter long on NIO yesterday was the fact that we had this pullback now ever since we broke out from the Monday, April 22nd. We had this massive impulse and we have started to consolidate right around this support level. Now, you guys don't know this, the market doesn't always just go up and it doesn't always go down. There's a very structured move to an overall trend. So at this point, the overall trend is still bearish. We're not going to discredit the fact that that overall we're playing against the grain. But I do want you to realize that every single time NIO was selling off, we would sell into a lower low, we would get a small bounce into a lower low, get a small bounce into a lower low, into a small bounce. Now, this type of price action is extremely important. And when you're looking at these candles, I don't want you to necessarily think of patterns. I want you to think of the collective psychology of the market, because you cannot move the market yourself. So we have to have an understanding of what big money is doing and what type of cycle we're in or what type of structure we're in order to not get absolutely killed. So if we're just looking at these three impulses and these three sell-offs to the downside, this is showing us that the bears are not just still in control, but they are very much so in control, because we're making lower lows and we are making lower highs, which is really a bad sign. So we get this bounce again and price comes all the way back down into a lower low. So this is still extremely bearish. At this price, or at this time, price pulls all the way back up, impulses down, comes back to test equal high, which is what we have not had before, pulls back into lower low, and now we're going to see if price can come back to test equal high. Now, if we come back into this level, which is this called a liquidity level sitting here, because we've rejected many times, there is a good chance that if there's a fundamental catalyst and a reason to break this resistance level, that we are going to rocket. And that catalyst for this inverted head and shoulders pattern is earnings. Now, this does not mean that earnings is going to be good. Of course not. From a fundamental standpoint, that's not what we're looking at. But from a technical standpoint, we're seeing now that this sell-off pressure where we're just going to keep hitting lower lows is starting to dwindle. And this is showing that we're finding strength. Now, the other thing that's showing that we're finding strength is our BX trender on the right side of your screen, which is the weekly time frame. So for the past 6 consecutive weeks, even though we've been making lower lows and consolidating, we have been building a shit ton of pressure on the BX trender. So what do you guys think is going to happen, right? If we have a ton of consolidation all the way down near lows and all of the consolidation is stronger and stronger buying pressure, there's a very good chance that we're going to rocket our way back up. Now, does this mean that NIO is going to come all the way back up to 13, 14? Of course not. Where I realistically think that we're going to see NIO come back up to is going to be around $8. And there's two main reasons for that. Number one is that that's where our point of control is. And you can see that right here. So basically, these horizontal bars that you see on your screen, this is going to show you our volume, and this is called volume profile. So instead of the vertical bars at the bottom of your chart, that show you how many shares are traded within a day. This is going to show us where we're really seeing price action. So across this entire, it was about a year and a half of our trading has been within this range. So when we have thick areas of trading range, so an area here from basically 650 to 5, and then this area from 750 to 950, price will normally consolidate within these areas. But these thin areas, these gaps, basically from $5 down to 350, from 6 up to 750, and even more from 950 up to 13, which is a range we've not seen in a very long time, you're going to notice that it is very, very easy for price to move within these areas. Last time we had a 18% sell-off basically within 3 trading days. The time before, we had a massive gap up of about 60% in about 32 days. So I think that if we end up getting this breakout from earnings, I think that we're going to have a very high chance, 80% plus, that we're going to get NIO to push its way back up to $8 in probably the next 60 to 90 days. And I know that that's very aggressive, but I could definitely see that happening by the end of August. Let me know what you guys think. Oh, the last thing too, this is the other aspect. So the reason I think that that's probably the highs that we're going to get is that if you take our most recent swing high and our most recent swing low over the past year, and you were to take a Fibonacci retracement, you are going to see that our main golden zone lines perfectly up with $8.50. So if there is ever a level that we would see NIO reject from, it would be up here. So I would personally be playing NIO long up to 850, taking my long off the table, and potentially playing this next trade back down into the end of the year, down to $5.40. But let me know what you guys think. If you want to learn to trade just like this, get access to all my real-time alerts, our exact trading system, all of our indicators and everything, you can join our private academy. The link will be down below. Thank you guys for all the support. I'll see you next time.